This is the ugly truth behind Magneto, the most overrated tank in the game. I have over 40 hours on Magneto, and I'm in Celestial rank. I have credibility. I agree that Magneto is one of the most useless tanks in the game. This is the ugly truth about him. But let me reframe Magneto being useless. Magneto is useless when you're shooting into the enemy tanks. If this Magneto was spamming into the enemy Venom and the enemy Rogue right here, yeah, they're getting low and stuff, but the enemy healers, in this case the enemy White Fox and the enemy Dead Luna, would be reversing all the damage this Magneto player does. And that's what I see a lot of y'all Magneto players doing. 99% of Magneto players spam their Magneto balls into the enemy tank and wonder why they can't get a kill. The easy fix is to ignore the tanks completely and to target the enemy supports so they die more often and you get more kills. Of course, if you see the enemy tank below half HP, be sure you fire your Magneto balls into them. But your default should always be to prioritize the enemy supports. Who are you going to prioritize? The enemy supports. Even if they're far away. Did you see how the Rogue literally... You gotta ignore the enemy tanks so hard that even the enemy tanks won't even punch you. You see how this Rogue just walked past the Magneto? Yeah, she popped her ultimate and she got my attention. But best believe I was still on them freaking supports. And that's what y'all should be doing when you're on Magneto. Another reason why, another ugly truth about Magneto is his shielding capabilities. Yeah, a lot of y'all say Magneto has a pretty good shield. He's a really good shield tank. Magneto is not a good tank for shielding. If you really want a shield tank, go Doctor Strange because you got more control. I don't think, not even inside of this game, I even had a good shield play. Don't worry about this ultimate right here. I get a pick, trust. But Magneto's bubbles make up for his shielding capabilities. I don't know when I'm gonna bubble here, but really, if you can just play around Magneto's bubbles, then his shield, then you're gonna have more success. Magneto is not a good shield tank, and he's really overrated. I literally have my shield up for a minute because I know how bad it is. If you need a shield tank, go Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is so easy to freaking learn. It seems like Magneto is good on paper, and a lot of y'all like his Meteor because his Meteor seems like the most obvious pick, or seems pretty obvious to get the hang of, because just land a Meteor and get it down. But it's not so obvious how his base kit works. His base kit is not a tank buster. It's to literally poke at the enemy supports and poke at weak DPS. Yes, that means you're supporting the poke slop agenda. And if you find yourself, hey, we need to block some of this damage, Magneto ain't really your pick because you only get one shield usage. That's like up for, it's going to be up for like 5 seconds and be on a 10-second cooldown. Doctor Strange is way more reliable for that. And if you know you gotta poke down the enemy tanks are a problem, Magneto is not gonna help you out with that. He's gonna freaking die and you're gonna be like, oh my god, they're killing me. You're gonna have to switch to another hero like Doctor Strange. If you want to talk more, leave me a comment or we could talk more inside Discord. Subscribe for more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.